1 week out from the show, and today I was gonna show, well, my intention was to show how exhausted I am, right? And I had this whole script written out. And then when I woke up today, I was like, I don't have to act, because I'm so fucking tired. I almost didn't even do this. Like, I was gonna stay in bed. But here we are, 1 week out. Let's do it. Gonna do a pull day today. So the first exercise I'm gonna start with is some rope pullovers. This one gets the back nice and warmed up. I always start with this. So Fridays are my check-in day with my coach, and things have switched up a lot for peak week. So the weight you are at the beginning of peak week is like your true weight, because you're still hydrated. And then of course in the last week, you do a bunch of water manipulation stuff, so you really drop weight. So my weight today, or yesterday morning, was 223.8. I was trying to get down to 220, but we'll get down to 220 for show number 2. In any case, the changes for this week coming up are, there's no more carbs. No more carbs from right now forward until 1 or 2 days out. And then my water intake has to increase from 1 gallon to 2 gallons. So that way my body becomes like an excreting machine. So Saturday, I woke up this morning, did an hour of fasted cardio. My breakfast was 13 ounces of egg whites and 2 whole eggs, some vegetables. And now we're training. So once again, there's no pre-workout carbs. You know what it's like training with no carbs? It's like somebody's stabbing you and you're like trying to run, you're trying to run away, right? And then when you turn around, they're like in midair, about to crush down on you again, and just, It's like there's nothing there, you just have to keep forcing it, you know? This is the part right here that's not glamorous, you know? At least personally. You know, show day's awesome, you get to get all tanned up, and it's like, you know, it's like the event, the main event. You know, and then when you're training for the competition, you're still eating and you're getting in shape. You're like, yeah, no, I'm gonna do this. And right now, I'm just like, fuck this shit. I wanna go home and go to sleep. This is what it's all about, though. Getting it done even when you don't want to. It's the part that people don't want to do. And I'd say, honestly, there's multiple victories to be had in this first competition for me, because in 2024, right, I had my surgery. I was really down and out, depressed. You know, I had to have people help me, doing everything left and right, you know. Couldn't walk. I was on crutches, and I was constipated, and I was on crutches, and I couldn't leave the bathroom. I mean, it was terrible, you know. So in my head, I just wanted to get back to myself, feeling good, getting back to 100, feeling like AP, feeling like, you know, just strong, confident in my own skin, the way I like to feel. And so victory number 1 is getting to this point, right? Because I feel that way right now. Of course, the objective is to win, but my objective was to get back in peak performance, in peak shape, right? Back to single-digit body fat, full of energy, full of life. And I did that. Still on a mission, but I accomplished mission 1. So one staple in bodybuilding, men's physique, right, is pull-ups, right? Your lats, you gotta have wide lats. And so pull-ups is something that I've tried to get better at when I'm like 250, 255, you know what I'm saying? Super heavy to pull myself up. And I'm like, damn, I gotta get stronger in my back. So one of my objectives this prep was to bang out pull-ups and get like super solid, busting out reps of 10 to get to 100, 150. And I've been able to do that. It feels so good because like my grip strength is increased, my lats are thicker, just from doing pull-ups. Pull-ups are golden, one of the best exercises you could do. So one thing about training like 2 weeks out, 1 week out, workouts aren't an hour and a half anymore. You know what I'm saying? 45 minutes, and that's it. You don't have enough energy, right? The objective is to get in and get out. You're low on energy. The longer you stay in the gym, the worse it is for yourself, because you're gonna do more damage than good. The body can't take that much. So your objective is to really focus in for 45 minutes, which you should be doing anyway when you're training, but be super focused for those 45 minutes, 50 minutes. Do your cardio, because clearly you gotta do that part. And get the hell out and relax and rest. All right, rest is super important during the last week. People think like, oh, work. Yes, the work is extremely important, so you have to manage that part and get that part done. But other than that, you should be relaxing, resting. You want to keep your cortisol levels low. You don't want to be stressed. You know, you want your body to just relax and be able to process everything that's going on. You know, people that have to like work and be busy all day long while they're on peak week, they're super stressed out, hurting. And once again, do what you gotta do, but the objective is to control all the variables, keep it nice and calm. Next, we're going to some rows. I don't know what it is, but these rows, they fucking take a lot out of me. Like these cable rows, every time I do them, I don't know if it's because I'm contracting my core so tight, but like holding my breath or something, but every time I do these, it's like I'm shot afterward. Next up, we got wide grip lat pull downs. Reality is I don't think there's any more staple back exercise than this. Wide grip targets the lats, keeps your back nice and wide, nice and thick. Let's go. So one of the main reasons I compete, right, is because I want to have a dedicated point in the year where I get in top physical condition, right? Reality is, you know, all the clients that I have, nobody's a competitor, right? I coach parents and busy professionals, executives. They're just trying to find the time in the day to get things done, right? Mothers, lack of time. How do you fit in meal prepping? Nobody cares about, you know, competing and being 5% body fat. I do that for me, and the reason is that as you get older, you always find a way to be complacent. You know, there's always a reason to become complacent and be like, you know, I don't have to push hard anymore. You know, I accomplished so much and I'm good. I don't ever want to live in that zone. To me, it's like, I'm about to be 40 in 2 months and I'm still doing this shit. And to me, it's like, I want to keep doing it as long as I can. Because to stop doing it, right? To stop taking that point during the year where I get in top physical condition means that I've settled. And to me, I don't ever want to settle, right? My wife's always like, all right, Apollo, you know, you can't do this forever. And I'm like, you're right, I can't do it forever, but I could do it until the wheels fall off, whenever that may be. See what I mean? And so when I think about, you know, the message that I preach to people, I also want to show that I'm not just somebody who talks it, right? There's a lot of coaches out there and a lot of health and wellness professionals that like, they're giving you advice and you look at their own life and you're like, bruh, how are you giving advice on getting in shape, living an active lifestyle? And when I look at what you're doing, it doesn't add up. You know what I'm saying? So with me, it's one of those things that my values, the way I live, what I preach, everything has to align. And so when it comes to competing and living this active, healthy lifestyle, I'm making sure that I live in alignment. So that way people not only just listen to what I say, but they see it. And that's how you build, well, that's how I feel that I'm building trust in my community, with my clients, and the people that I'm able to impact on a daily basis. All right, so next I'm jumping into the iso-lateral low row. If you notice my cadence, right, I typically always go, if you think about a back day, a pull day in general, a pull day is just either a pull down or a row. There's just wide grip, neutral grip, close grip, wide grip, neutral grip, close grip. But no matter what, you're either rowing or pulling down. So I typically go back and forth between the two. Obviously I did a pullover, which is a row. Then I went to pull-ups, which is a pull down, right? Then I went to another row. Then I went to another pull down. Now I'm going to another row. So I just keep on going back and forth between the two. Oh shit, they got my soundtrack on right now. You hear that? Eye of the Tiger. For those of you that don't know, I was named after Apollo Creed. Matter of fact, you know what? The stage shorts I wear on July 5th, which is one day after Independence Day, might be some American flag shorts. And not because it's Independence Day, but because that's what Apollo Creed wore. Red, white, and blue. Let's see. I don't know. If I find some cool ones, maybe. Creed! All right. Last exercise of the day is going to be some bicep curls. Can never leave the biceps out, right? Arms are super important. The thing about it though is when I was in my 20s, I used to train arms all the time. So bodybuilding now, I don't need to train arms that much because they already overpower my upper body. Like I barely hit arms now. I do like right now I'm just doing one set of biceps because if I do legs, my biceps grow. That's how my genetics work. So I'm not trying to have massive, massive arms and my upper body is disproportionate to that, right? So that's why I focus more on the center mass, lats, shoulders, chest, because the arms are the secondary muscle anyway, they're gonna get hit. And once again, genetically, and because I've worked them so much, I have good arms. It's not the part that I need to focus on. I much more need to focus on building some more shoulder mass, upper chest mass, some lat width, right? So crush all the major movements. Typically, I'm a very happy, lucky go guy, but on peak week, I have to go to a very dark place mentally to get through it, right? And so you can't always just be happy when you're doing this, right? It doesn't feel good. You have to channel energy from somewhere, right? Tim Grover talks about this. He talks about the things that you can think about in your life that really ignite you, that light a flame over you, that get you to act, you know? And so I think back to a lot of circumstances in life that didn't go my direction. You know, a lot of situations that I wish could have turned out differently. A lot of hurt that I've been through just personally and emotionally. And I channel that energy into knowing that I'm gonna be successful and keep pushing forward. And I use that as fuel to stay focused, because the one thing that I won't do in life, right, is not win. And when I say not win, I mean win on a personal level, right? So many people get stuck in their circumstance that they never see a possibility out. They never consider alternative factors. They're always just playing the victim role, right? And while you do need to process certain events that happen to you, you know, and they do need the time and space to overcome, eventually you got to overcome them, right? And so training for me and moments like this become the time in life where I look back, you know, I think about those events, those things that, I mean, man, they could fucking explode, you know? But I use that as fuel to keep moving forward and knowing that there's a bigger purpose for me, you know? And that's the part that's exciting. It's like I can look back at those events and say, fuck. But then I look forward at the future and I'm like, oof, where I'm at and where I'm heading, man, nobody can replace that. And the only person who can make that happen is me. I'm not the world's best poser, but I'm gonna break this down how I think about it, right? So the main inspiration I get from my posing, or who I got my posing from, is Raymond Edmonds, which is Mr. Olympia 2019. And the reason for it is that he's roughly the same height. He's like 6'1", 6'2". He has longer limbs, right? Most bodybuilders are shorter, you know, they're real stocky. It's harder to pose as somebody who's tall. You gotta really fill out the stage and make sure that you have presence, right? And so he did this one move to the back, which I'll show you, that I love, and it just looks super aesthetic. Nobody does it anymore, but I still love doing the variation of it now, and you'll know what move it is once I do it. But so, here it is. So this right here is the X-Man. This is George Brown. Always got to give credit where credit's due, right? Long live the king. George Brown, X-Man. And in this pose, you really want to bring out all the veins, right? Really get that pose, flex, so your vascularity comes out, right? And try to get as wide as possible. And then here, arms are decent, so want to show the tricep and the serratus of the abs as you come to the side with a nice smile. And then the back transition. Shoot. Boom. So we're here and as wide as possible. And then here goes the Raymond move. I think it looks super sleek. You know what I mean? Like, lots of posing you could do. The thing about men's physique is you can make it what you want. You could do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? So that's my move. I feel confident with it, and I'm gonna keep it. 1 week out, but I'm super excited. Why? Because I'm doing what I love. I'm living in my purpose. And honestly, the pain that I feel, the emptiness, it's all worth it to accomplish what's on the other side. And so, stay tuned for this journey. Don't forget to follow me at The Story of Apollo on Instagram. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. Listen, I have a lot of good content coming out. The rebrand from The Journey to the Apollo Method is going really well, and I have some very exciting stuff regarding that coming up. So stay tuned. Let's keep this going.